soil is very much useful for the crops to grow well. Then it also acts as a tourist spot for mountaineering where people climb mountains. Okay, so these six are the importance of Himalayas. The first one is they guard our nation. There it serves as important hill stations, religious places, and the forests in these regions. They are a home for many wild animals, and they provide valuable wood and herbs. It gives fertile soil, and it also helps in the tourist sport, that is mountaineering. So with this we'll be completing our first natural region of India, that is the Himalayas. So the second natural region of India is the northern plains. Okay, the northern plains. So plains are nothing but it is a plain land or a equal and it is an even land. Clear? Fine. Coming to the northern plains, they are also called as Indo-Gangetic plains or Aryavarta. Okay, they are called as Indo-Gangetic plains or Aryavarta. Now, if you look at the length of the northern plains, if you look from here to here, so it extends. So the length of the northern plains is about 240 to 320 kilometers. Okay, the length of the northern plains is 240 kilometers to 320 kilometers. The breadth of the northern plains, if you look from here to here, it is about 2400 kilometers. How much? It is about 2400 kilometers. Now, this northern plains, the soil is very fertile because the rivers whatever has originated in the Himalayan region, they carry the soil from the Himalayan region and they drop it in the northern plains. Okay, that soil is called as silt or alluvial soil. This soil is very fertile and therefore there are lots of crops growing in these regions. Now if you look at the northern plains are also divided into three basins. Okay, the northern plains are divided into three basins. The first one is called as the Satluj or Punjab basin. Here. Okay, this is called the Satluj or the Punjab basin. It is called Punjab basin because the Satluj, it flows through Punjab. Okay, that is the main reason it is named as Punjab basin. And the second one is the Ganga basin and the third one is the Brahmaputra basin. So the northern plains are divided into three basins. The first one Satluj, the second one Ganga, and the third one is Brahmaputra. Now let us go into detail about these basins. So before going into the basins, let us have the definitions of tributary and basin. What is a tributary? Tributary is nothing but a river or a stream flowing into a large river or lake. Now if you see here, there are many other rivers, there are many other streams over here. They're all together, they're flowing into the larger river or lake. This is actually the first picture that you see here is the Beas basin or the Beas river. Okay, the small tributaries of Beas, they are flowing into the larger river or the lake. The second one, basin. Basin is nothing but an area which is watered by river and its tributaries. Not only the river but also its tributaries. Okay. So now we are clear with the definitions of tributary and basin. So now let us go to the next part, that is our first basin, that is the Satluj basin. So Satluj is the longest river and it is also called as the Red River. Clear? Satluj is the longest river and it is called as the Red River. So here, if you look at the Satluj river, it actually flows from Punjab, and from Punjab it enters into Pakistan where we have the Indus river. Okay, the Satluj river flows from Punjab and then it flows into Pakistan and joins into the Indus River. After joining the Indus River, they flow into the Arabian Sea. Clear? So the Satluj river, it first flows from Punjab and then flows into Pakistan and joins the Indus River and drains into the Arabian Sea. The tributary of Satluj basin is the Beas River. Okay, the tributary, as you can see here. Okay, the tributary of Satluj basin is the river Beas. So, if you see this in the Satluj basin or in the Satluj river, Bhakra Nagal Dam is constructed. Okay, so this Bhakra Nagal Dam's main function is to provide electricity and water for irrigation. Clear? The main function of the Bhakra Nagal Dam is to provide electricity and water for irrigation. So with this we complete our Satluj basin. So once again talking about the Satluj basin, Satluj is the longest river and it is also called as the Red River. It flows first into Punjab, then it flows into Pakistan and joins with the Indus River, and this again drains into Arabian Sea. The tributary of Satluj basin is the Beas River, and across the Satluj River, Bhakra Nagal Dam is constructed, and the main purpose of this dam is to provide electricity and water for irrigation. The next one we are having is the Ganga basin. The Ganga basin is the river Ganga is a sacred river, and this Ganga river is originating from the glacier Gangotri. If you see at this point, this is if you look at this point here, this is the glacier Gangotri. So when this glacier Gangotri melts, water forms, and this flows as the river Ganga, which is very sacred. As it goes by, Ganga and Yamuna are the major rivers of this basin. Not only Ganga, but even the river Yamuna is also present in this basin. So this Ganga basin, it has many tributaries. It has tributaries like Alakananda. It has many tributaries like Alakananda, Mandakini, Bhagirathi, Gandak, Ghaghara, Koshi, Gomti and Som. These are the important tributaries of the Ganga basin. So once again, Ganga is a very sacred river which starts from the glacier Gangotri. And in this basin we are having two main rivers, that are Ganga and Yamuna. And it has the Ganga basin is having many tributaries such as Bhagirathi, Mandakini, Alakananda, Gandak, Ghaghara, Koshi, Gomti and Som. So these are all the tributaries of the Ganga basin. As this Ganga goes by, this river Ganga is joined by the rivers Yamunotri and Saraswati. Okay, the rivers Yamunotri and Saraswati join the river Ganga, and they form a Sangam at the place called Prayagraj. At a place called as Prayagraj. Okay, they form a Sangam at a place called as Prayagraj, which is present in Allahabad. If you look at the first picture here, you can find the color of water in three different shades. This till here one, and the remaining water till here at one color. So this is the place called as Sangam, where the three rivers are joining together. They join but they do not mix with each other. That's why we can see it as different colors. So the Ganga is joined by rivers Yamuna and Saraswati at a place called as Prayagraj in Allahabad. Okay, and the next one is the rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra. They meet together and they flow into the Bay of Bengal, and this place is called as Ganga Sagar, which is a sacred place. The second picture that you see is the Ganga Sagar, which is very sacred. Clear? So which rivers, Ganga and Brahmaputra, they meet and flow into the Bay of Bengal, and that place where they flow into the Bay of Bengal is called as Ganga Sagar. Yes. The next one is a delta which is formed in the Ganga basin. What do you mean by a delta? Delta is nothing but a river is splitting into many channels. Now if you look at the first picture here, the river which is present here is splitting into many channels here. Okay, so that is called as a delta. Now the river Ganga is split into many channels, and this particular place is called as Sundarbans, where Ganga is splitting into different channels. Okay, so that place is called as Sundarbans, which is a delta. Delta is again nothing but river which is splitting into many channels. Clear? This Sundarbans is a very beautiful area with a marshy area where you have lots of plants, lots of water and all those things. And the speciality of Sundarbans is that it is a home for the Royal Bengal tiger. Okay, it is a home for Royal Bengal tiger. Is it clear now? So Sundarbans is an area that is formed by the splitting of the river Ganga into many different channels, which is called as a delta, and it is a home for many Royal Bengal tigers. So with this we'll be completing our Ganga basin. The third and the last basin in the northern plains is the Brahmaputra basin. The Brahmaputra, it originates actually in Tibet, that is in China, and in China it is called as Sangpo. In China it is called as Sangpo, and from China it enters into India through Arunachal Pradesh. Clear? It enters from Tibet or China into India through Arunachal Pradesh, and in Arunachal Pradesh it is called as Siang. It is called as Siang. And from Arunachal Pradesh it flows through the state Assam and the neighboring country Bangladesh, and it is the longest river of the other two basins, like other two rivers like Ganga and Satluj. And then Brahmaputra, it joins the river Padma and becomes a delta. Delta is nothing but splitting into different channels, smaller channels. So this is about Brahmaputra basin. The Brahmaputra basin, it starts in China or Tibet, and there it is called as Sangpo, and from Tibet it enters India through Arunachal Pradesh. In Arunachal Pradesh it is called as Siang. From Arunachal Pradesh, the river Brahmaputra, it flows through Assam and into the neighboring country Bangladesh. This Brahmaputra is the longest river, and this joins the river Padma to form a delta. Clear with this? So with this we'll be completing our northern plains, which has three basins: Satluj basin, Ganga basin and Brahmaputra basin. The next and the last topic of our first lesson is the Great Indian Desert or the Thar Desert. Okay, the Great Indian Desert or the Thar Desert. The Thar Desert is mostly present in Rajasthan. Okay, it is present in parts of Rajasthan, then Punjab and Gujarat. Clear? But mostly it is present in Rajasthan. Now what is a desert? Desert is nothing but a dry land, okay, with very less rainfall, little vegetation and very high temperatures. Clear? A desert is a dry land with less rainfall, less vegetation and high temperature. Okay, so the Great Indian Desert is also called as the Thar Desert. Now the only water body or the river present in the desert, in the Indian desert, is the river Luna. Okay, the only river present in the Thar Desert is Luna, which originates from Punjab. If you look at in the deserts, you find sand hills, small sand hills. They are called as sand dunes. Okay, they're called as sand dunes. Here, due to high temperature, the vegetation means the growing of plants is very less, and few of the plants that are present in the desert are cactus, dates, babool, and kikar. Okay, so what are the plants that are found in the desert? Cactus, dates, babool, and kikar. Now, if you look at the deserts, if you look at some places of the deserts, you have small areas of greenery with a water body. Okay, you will have a water body, and surrounding the water body, you will be having some bushes, some thorny shrubs, herbs like that. So these areas are called as oases. Okay, these areas, they are called as oases. So what happens is, the people who are living in the desert, they usually live around the oases because they will be getting water, they will be having vegetation there. So that is the main reason why the people of deserts live around the oases. Now, what is the transport in these desert regions? The transport in these desert regions is camel. So the camel is called as the ship of the desert because the camel is used in many ways. It is very important because it carries loads, it carries human beings from one place to other place, and it can go in the forest in the desert walking for many days without water because it is having the mechanism to store the water. Therefore, camel is a very important animal in the desert. So I hope this is clear. So once again, we talk about the Great Indian Desert. The Great Indian Desert is also called as the Thar Desert. A desert is a dry land with very less rainfall, very little vegetation, but high temperature. So because of this high temperature, we will not have more plants. And the only plants present are cactus, dates, babool, and kikar. And if you see in few places of the desert, this sand is in the form of hills, small hills, and this hills are called as sand dunes. Sand dunes. The next thing is, in few places of the desert, you find a small water body surrounded by a few plants, and this area is called as oasis. And surrounding the oasis, the people living in the desert will be living around the oasis. And the important animal of the desert is the camel. Then, the only river or the water body present in the desert is the Luna River. The river Luna. So I hope with this you are all clear with the first lesson, physical features of India, part 1. So in the next lesson we will be dealing about the states present in these 3 natural regions of India, that is in the Himalayan region, Northern Plains, and the Great Indian Desert. Thank you, students.